Mula, go get him, dog.
About social issues without the liberal lapdogs shutting down the discussion. Broadcasting from the American Truth Project Studios in beautiful Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. This is Conservative Nation with your host, Jermaine Buxio.
Hello. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Conservative Nation with me, your gracious host, Jermaine Buxio, streaming out of the great state of Minnesota. But I don't know if it's so great right now. Not with Governor Tim Walz. Did you guys hear what Governor Tim Walz is doing? Did ya hear? Did you hear? Me and my wife started to throw on the DNC shoes. You know the DNC shoes is real good with tap dancing and moving real fast. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Governor Tim Walz says he's ready to welcome the Afghan refugees. He's ready. He's ready. He says he wants to allow 30,000 in. Yeah, 30,000. 30,000. Hold on. Wow. 30,000. You know, I heard Texas going to get a whole bunch of refugees as well. Man, oh man, it's going to be one hell of a year. I can tell you that. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you guys do me a favor. Hit that like button. Make sure you share. Don't treat me like... Yeah. Don't treat me like your baby mama. Don't treat me like that stray dog you picked up last week and you found out it pisses all over your couch and on your chair and everywhere. Don't treat me like that. Share. Hit that like button. I need your help. I certainly do, ladies and gentlemen. As you guys can see, the technocrats, they ain't going to stop. They will never, ever, ever stop. You know why? Because they hate us, ladies and gentlemen. They absolutely do. They want us complacent. They want us on chains. And let me tell you something. The best way to get out of that situation is to open your mind, critically think, and praise God. You can do so, right? Let's go ahead and get rocking, ladies and gentlemen. We got a full show, boatloads of info coming at you. Make sure you share, do your due diligence. All right, I need your help. I need your help. First one up here, ladies and gentlemen, I want to go ahead and speak about some body cam footage that got released by the Rhode Island Police Department. All right, actually, it's the Providence Police Department. They released this body cam. And ladies and gentlemen, this situation is about some Rhode Island cops spitting and punching handcuffed teens after a freeway chase. I want to go ahead and run this when it comes back. I want to speak about it. Al Sharpton and some other folks have jumped on this. Apparently the teens are, one of them is an African American. I don't know about the other one, but apparently, what these cops did, has led to an internal investigation and, a whole bunch of civil suits. Make sure you guys hit this like button. Hit it for me. Share. All right. I need your help. I need it. Here we go.
Of 3 teenagers in Providence who led police on a chaotic chase through the city last month. More than 8 hours of footage combined of the arrests of 3 teens that led 2 officers to be suspended pending a criminal investigation. The hours of body camera video shows Providence police officers repeatedly punching teenage boys they are arresting in the early hours of July 9th. One teen with his face bloodied. Officer Domingo Diaz, who has been suspended, spits at him as the teen is pulled up from the ground. Diaz, in another video clip, is seen repeatedly punching one of the teens before being physically pulled off of him by a sergeant. The violent arrests taking place after an hours-long chase through the city. The 3 teenagers in a BMW convertible accused of driving erratically and pointing a BB gun rifle at civilians and police. When they finally crash into a fire hydrant on Salmon Street, police are seen on video pulling them out of the car. More than one officer throws punches.
You okay?
Yeah.
In this clip, an officer interviews the driver, who says he's 15.
But bro, like, do you see the severity of this? Like, you guys are going crazy, man. The whole state was after you guys.
That's why I kept telling them, stop put that out the window, and they don't listen. They don't listen. They don't listen.
You just should have pulled over, bro. You were the driver, man.
The 3 juveniles were all charged, but have not been identified because they're underage. Shortly after the incident, police placed Diaz and Officer Mitchell Voyer on paid suspension. Attorney General Peter Nerona is conducting a use of force investigation into the officers. Here's what Public Safety Commissioner Stephen Perry said about the incident last month.
I saw excessive use of force in some of the body cams that is both troubling and appalling.
Providence police had initially declined our request for this video last month, but released it Wednesday at the authorization of Nerona, who says his investigation is, quote, substantially complete. He has not yet said if those 2 suspended officers will be charged or cleared. With the Target 12 investigators, I'm Steph Machado, 12 News.
Steph, thank you. Community leaders are speaking up about the violent action seen in the video.
12 News reporter Molly O'Brien spoke with activists, advocates, and the police union president and joins us now live in studio with their reaction. That's new tonight. Molly?
What if that was your kid in the video? That's the question posed by Black Lives Matter Rhode Island Political Action Committee. Leaders are hopeful those involved will be held accountable. Disturbing, difficult, and frustrating to watch. That's how Harrison Tuttle with Black Lives Matter Rhode Island PAC describes this video released by Providence Police.
The body camera video shows actions yet again by a police department that, is flat out attacking our youth.
12 News obtained more than 8 hours of video from police Wednesday. Body camera video shows at least 2 teenagers getting punched multiple times by officers. Another shows officers spitting toward a teen suspect.
Truly is appalling. I mean, I don't think that any of us can look at that video and see that a child is lifeless on the ground and being spit on and feel like that is protecting people.
Tuttle says by no means are the alleged actions of the teens acceptable. He thinks both the suspects and the officers involved should be held accountable.
These are trained professionals that are, given the trust by taxpayers in our state to be able to handle those situations in which kids don't get spit on.
As the investigation is ongoing, Providence Police Union President Michael Amundi says they will not directly comment on the actions of the officers. But in a statement to 12 News, he did say, quote, "The investigation surrounding this incident should be full and complete before judgment is passed on any of the actions taken to facilitate the arrest of these subjects. When making an arrest, especially in a highly volatile incident with violent subjects who intend to resist arrest, it never looks good, quote, on camera. And people will be quick to judge."
Bow. Right? Media is trying to start another war, another distraction. What do you guys think about this? What do you think? As much as we fight for the cops on here, right? Another one. Now, as you guys can see in the video, right? I mean, it's quite apparent. The cop spit on the suspect, right? That's a no-no, right? And I don't care who you are, right? That's a no-no. The punching, excessive punching in there, while the teens are handcuffed. That's another no-no, and I don't care who you are. Ain't no way around it. To the point where other officers got to pull the other person off. It's a problem. Now, I can tell you a lot of cops out there have their, stress levels up. A lot of them, ladies and gentlemen, are in this cynical mode because day in and day out, they are trashed by people in the street and the media. All right? So it creates a complex in a lot of cops' minds that, hey, everybody hates me, right? So when you get into a lot of these high stressful situations, these cops let out the anger in the wrong way. Right? It happens all the time. Happens to cops on the beat when they're chasing suspects. You go ahead and ask a lot of cops. They don't like to run after suspects. Right? If you make them run, you better believe some cop is waiting to give you an ass whooping. That's the way it goes. Ask the cops around. You make a cop run. When they catch you, it's a little bit of an ass whooping. They don't like to run. But it's part of the job. It is. Now, I'm not excusing these buffoons and these degenerates, right? They're probably raised by their mama doing this type of nonsense. But you have to understand, if you're wearing that law enforcement outfit, you're going to be dealing with fools like this. And you have to act accordingly, no matter what's going on the outside. And I think that is something that a lot of people need to take in. They do. And the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, they're teenagers, right? They're teenagers. That's where, the hammer's coming down a little bit. They're teenagers. Because you can only imagine, and I hate to even use the BLM kids phrase there. What if this was your child acting ridiculous? Right? So I can understand it. But a lot of this comes from children not being raised correctly in our baby mama, single mama America, which, most of these people don't talk about. Somehow speaking about single mamas and baby mamas, is not good, right? Because if you start speaking about it, you get to the root problem here in America. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you share. I need your help. I need your help. All right? We have a lot to discuss, and you can see how crazy the technocrats are. All right? You can see how crazy they are. Next one up here, ladies and gentlemen. I want to go ahead and speak about Minnesota. And you know what? Okay. Producer want me to do something. I'll do that one first. I'll do that one first. We're going to be speaking about, and if you're in Minnesota, make sure you share. All right? Make sure you share. You're going to want to share on this one. I want to speak about some stuff going on in the GOP. I've held my tongue because I wanted to see some more information coming out, and boatloads is coming. So it looked like maybe this is a 2 or 3, episode story. That seems to be what's going on here. We are first going to be speaking about sex trafficking charges that are reported to a man by the name of Anton Lazaro. Anton Lazaro, ladies and gentlemen, is a campaign worker. He's a man who's hired by the GOP to do several things. And he's also the MNGOP chair's, what they're saying, best friend. This is what they're saying. Apparently, he's linked to, man, oh man, sex trafficking. He's in jail right now. And ladies and gentlemen, it's a big deal. Big deal. Let me go ahead and run this story. Make sure you share. If you're in Minnesota, maybe you heard about it, maybe not. I know they're trying to keep it under wraps here. Trust me, it ain't going to be under wraps no longer. Make sure you share. All right? Minnesota teen arrested on sex trafficking charges linked to Minnesota GOP's Anton Lazaro. Here we go.
A 19-year-old woman in a Florida jail tonight on sex trafficking charges linked to an investigation involving Minnesota Republican strategist Tony Lazaro. Gisela Castro Medina was arrested on Thursday. Good evening, I'm Karen Scullen. That's our top story tonight as we continue to follow the developments and fallout of the federal investigation. Medina is reportedly facing 6 counts of sex trafficking minors. Fox 9's Mary McGuire joins us to explain more about this 19-year-old woman who the feds have linked to Lazaro. Mary?
Well, Karen, we knew there was another unnamed co-defendant in the federal indictment against Lazaro, and today we learned that that person is reportedly a teenage girl who's a student at a local university.
Taken into custody as a fugitive and under the influence of alcohol at a hospital in the Florida Panhandle. 19-year-old Gisela Castro Medina is now behind bars. She was arrested on Thursday, the same day and on the same underage sex trafficking charges as Republican strategist and donor Anton Lazaro.
Gisela Castro Medina.
A virtual graduation ceremony shows Medina graduated from Delano High School last year. She's currently a freshman at the University of St. Thomas and was recently elected as the chapter's chair of Minnesota College Republicans. The group issuing a statement saying they are disgusted with her actions and have immediately cut all ties with her. The arrest of Lazaro and Medina has caused turmoil within the Minnesota GOP, with numerous lawmakers calling on party chair Jennifer Carnahan to resign. After supporting her election as party chair in 2017, 30-year-old Lazaro burst onto the scene as a major party donor.
We're so excited to have with us tonight our co-host and very, very special guest, Tony Lazaro.
Carnahan hosted a podcast alongside Lazaro, and according to a Republican insider, the two were very close friends and traveled together frequently.
Now, Medina will make her first court appearance in Florida likely on Monday. Prosecutors say there could be additional victims of this sex trafficking ring and are asking anyone with information on this case to contact the FBI. We do have their number up on our website. Reporting live in the newsroom, Mary McGuire, Fox 9.
Now, GOP Chair Jennifer Carnahan is calling the charges against both Medina and Lazaro heinous and disturbing. But Carnahan is in deep water herself with more calls for her resignation tonight. 4 legislators with the new House Republican caucus say that Carnahan's close ties with Lazaro are a conflict of interest and she should step down. They're also asking for a full independent audit of the party's financial records and for all non-disclosure agreements to be reviewed, specifically asking that any NDA contract Carnahan made with GOP members be terminated, including any discussion about Lazaro. GOP committee member Bobby Benson echoing some of those requests, saying people may not be stepping forward about Lazaro because of NDAs. Benson says he will request for the termination of the NDAs and request an audit of finances in tomorrow night's committee meeting, saying, quote, Mr. Lazaro had his tentacles all over the Minnesota GOP, and we need to be sure that our party has cut this cancer out at the root. Lazaro has donated thousands of dollars to multiple Minnesota Republicans, many of them saying they will or already have donated or have given away the money.
Bow. Ladies and gentlemen. Wow. Shout out to Debbie Augustine. Wow. That's a real wow right there, ladies and gentlemen. That's a real wow. So, Minnesota GOP, they're in turmoil right now. The MN GOP chair is linked to Lazaro. So much so, ladies and gentlemen, they're saying that she knew what was going on. More Minnesota reps, GOP reps, are standing up, and they're speaking about a lot of events that have transpired under her leadership. They're speaking about, some alleged, quote unquote, sexual harassment that may have happened in Georgia during the GOP, during the recall down there when they were counting votes. Apparently, Minnesota sent some reps, MNGOP did, and some sexual misconduct happened down there, and they threw some NDAs around, and some money got paid out to a woman. This is what they're saying. So this is the main reason why they want to do the audit, because what they are saying, ladies and gentlemen, is that the MNGOP chair has been covering for sexual misconduct coming from, Anton Lazaro and some other folks that are there, paying people off, keeping people quiet by them signing NDAs. I want folks to understand it's very serious here. Very serious. And if you speak bad about the MNGOP chair, you know what she does? She's very slick. And I have to give it to her. She's a very slick woman because she watches what the liberals do and she knows the weakness of white folks. Remember white folks out there, right? Remember what I tell you about it? Color. She knows the weakness of most white folks. It's color. So if you attack her, she brings up her race right away. And let me tell you something. The weak white folks that are there, they cower. And the other ones step right next to her. See, I knew it. I knew there were some racists here in the Republican Party. See, this is the way she gets you. And then if that doesn't work, she'll throw up she's a woman. Anything, ladies and gentlemen, to get the scent off her, to shut down the conversation. And this is what she has been doing time and time again. It's absolutely crazy. It is. They want her ousted. I want to go ahead and show you guys another video here. This video has MNGOP members calling for the removal of the GOP chair, Jennifer Carnahan. Make sure you guys share, ladies and gentlemen. This is very important. Very, very important. Make sure you share. Here we go.
Good morning, Chris and Gia. Carnahan will be at top of mind for state Republicans this morning after a late night meeting ended without a final decision on whether or not to remove her. This is all because of her connection to Lazaro, who she hosted a podcast with. According to NPR News, Carnahan is calling the attempt to get her to resign a coup. On Facebook, she said, "It's disappointing party leaders are using guilt by association to demand her resignation." But some state Republican committee members see it differently and now could oust Carnahan if a majority of them agree on it. This will be tough since Carnahan has a solid amount of support within the group. The group also plans to conduct a party-wide financial audit and address alleged non-disclosure agreements that members say Carnahan made them sign. Here's what committee member Gary Stewart, who oversees the 1st Congressional District, had to say.
I didn't know how well Jennifer knew him, but the first time I heard of this guy, she was promoting him for an office. I'm concerned about these NDAs that people have been forced to sign. We've had numerous personnel issues.
If the committee can't agree on Carnahan, the issue could be taken up by the state central committee. It would need signatures from dozens of delegates to call a convention and elect a new chair. Some local analysts calling it unprecedented if that happens. Chris.
Thank you, Hannah. Hannah Conway reporting live this morning, and we'll be following this story all day as it develops.
So there you guys go. There you go. And let me go ahead and give a shout out to my guy, Robert Marvin, for donating. Shout out to you. Took the $5 challenge. Shout out to you. Absolutely. Donated through Cash App. Says there's corruption in both parties. Absolutely. Absolutely there is. So that's the skinny, ladies and gentlemen, going on here in Minneapolis and here in Minnesota. MNGOP, they have a problem. They absolutely do. So we will see. We will see if she is removed. It doesn't look very likely. They tried to remove her before. They couldn't get the votes. With this going on, I don't think, maybe not. She's going to definitely say she does not know anything about it. And by her saying that and, you know, her using race and color, she going to skate free. I don't see anybody taking her down. So that's what it is. That's what it is. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you share. All right, I need your help. I need your help. Next one up here, ladies and gentlemen, I want to go ahead and I want to speak about the craziness here. I want to speak about Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, ladies and gentlemen, says he's ready to welcome Afghan refugees. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what he's saying. Let me go ahead and transition. I want to go ahead and show you guys this. This comes from MinnesotaCBSLocal.com. Make sure you share. Here we go. Transitioning. Headline: Minnesota ready to welcome Afghan refugees. WCCO, in a letter to Biden, I'm not going to say that, Thursday, Governor Tim Walz and Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan said Minnesota stands ready to welcome refugee families from Afghanistan. You may be already aware that in the past, Minnesota has stepped forward to help those fleeing from desperate situations and need a safe place to call home. The letter reads, New Minnesotans strengthen our communities and contribute to our social, I love this right here, social fabric of our state. They are our neighbors. All right. This is the letter, ladies and gentlemen, he sent. And he goes on further. I'm not going to read all of it here. But I would read, ladies and gentlemen, this last piece of the letter Governor Tim Walz sent. Make sure you share it. I want Minnesotans to know what Tim Walz is doing. And it says, we would love to help them out. Football pizza owner Mirwaz Azazi, who came to the States as a refugee 34 years ago. They are the people of our country, and they are also human beings. This is a lie. They're not a people of our country. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Governor Tim Walz is going to allow 30,000, let me say this again, 30,000 refugees here in Minnesota. They've already done that with the Somalians. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the Afghan refugees. I want people to understand they used a word here, and this word finesses most folks. Let me go ahead and show people. They're very good at pushing what we call false compassion. They're very good at it. I want people to see this word I highlighted. Social fabric of our state. Ladies and gentlemen, the social fabric of our state are Americans and people who assimilate to our culture. Do you understand? That is the folks in our quote-unquote social fabric. In liberals' minds, ladies and gentlemen, social fabric is people coming here and retaining their own culture and integrating, not assimilating. That is their, ladies and gentlemen, social fabric. The reason why they want to bring these folks here, ladies and gentlemen, is to change the voting dynamic in Minnesota forever. This is the 1-2K blow right here. And they're going to be shipping these Afghan refugees, mark my words, just like they did with the Somalians. They're going to be shipping them to primarily all white towns. Mark my words. You white folks, mark my words. You going to see Mahmoud and them right down the street. Right? They'll be hanging up a goat. Think I'm playing. They're going to be doing that, ladies and gentlemen, so that they can change the way Minnesota votes forever. And they have been successful at doing this. Because what they do is they interject these people who have no plans on assimilating. They retain their own culture. Their culture clashes with American culture. Pretty soon, ladies and gentlemen, Afghan refugees are fighting Americans. Then you got dumb liberal Americans who start saying, well, these white people are racist. They're discriminated against ya. And once they start doing that, ladies and gentlemen, they start the dynamic of changing the way people think and feel about what's going on. They know how to do. I'm telling you, it works very, very good. You'll see it. You'll see the cultures clash. And then you'll get a white liberal to step up and point out the clash as it being racism rather than it being truly a cultural clash. You'll get other white folks feeling sorry about the situation. And by doing that, ladies and gentlemen, they have converted those folks straight to liberals. You think I'm playing? That's the way it works. That's the way it works. Look at this town called St. Cloud, Minnesota. If you're in Minnesota, you know what I'm talking about. St. Cloud used to vote red through and through. I mean, look at it now. Look at it now, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you, crime through the roof since they allowed the Somalians there. They have allowed Section 8 to ruin that town. Junkies. People got to wake up. They have to wake up. It's a crazy world, but you have to know what these folks are doing, and they're doing it on purpose. Let me go ahead, ladies and gentlemen, and give somebody a shout out here. I want to go ahead and give a shout out to my girl, beautiful woman, Debbie Augustin. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Absolutely. Shout out to you. And ladies and gentlemen, that's how it happens. All right? That's how it happens. Honestly. You want to change people's minds? You want them to come over to your side? You have to create the tension. You have to create the situation. Cultures clash. The Afghan refugees who are coming here, they're going to retain their own culture. Right? You think they're going to be eating hot dogs and ribs? Any of y'all out there think that the Afghan refugees are going to be eating hot dogs and ribs? No. They're going to come here and they're going to require a special dietary need. And guess who's going to provide that? Daddy government. You better believe it. They're going to give them their special dietary need, right? They're going to provide the goat meat. They're going to provide the halals and whatever else. They're going to give them a stipend, throw them up in a new crib, right? While you got to work hard and get your credit score up to get a crib, they thrown in a crib. I want folks to wake up to this scam. We have homeless veterans in the streets right now who cannot get any housing. I want people to understand this. They can't get any housing. But yet our government will go and import refugees and put them up in hostels, hotels, condominiums, Section 8 dwellings. But we can't do that, ladies and gentlemen, for the American citizen who fought for this country. Whether they fought honorably or not, we can't do that. We got to take refugees I want people to wake up. It's outrageous and it's not right. It's not right at all. Speaking about Somalians, I want to speak about, ladies and gentlemen, a woman who has a different type of brotherly love. Brotherly love! She go by the name of Ilhan Omar. Y'all know her, right? Y'all call her the diaper lady. Well, let me tell you something. Tucker Carlson got some new information on her, and I want you guys to hear this. I mean, it is quite beautiful. It is. We've all known about Diaper Lady, right? We've all known how she has gotten to this country. If you don't know, let me tell you, you will now know. Liberals try to say anybody who spoke about the way she got into this country is a racist, right? A racist, a xenophobe. Well, let me tell you something. The FBI, ladies and gentlemen, has now confirmed everything we knew already. She's into brotherly love. Let me tell you, not the one that you know. Take a look.
To help him gain entry illegally into the country. That's a violation of immigration law. That actually happened, it turns out. And now we're learning the FBI had evidence to confirm it, but didn't do anything about it. Miranda Devine is an actual journalist. She works at the New York Post, where she writes a column. She joins us tonight to explain what exactly happened. Miranda, thanks so much for coming on.
Pleasure, Tucker. Well, some basically Republican operatives up in Minnesota decided to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on private investigators to really find out if Ilhan Omar was a genetic match, the DNA match to the man who was her second husband. They went to 3 continents. They found a cigarette butt and a drinking straw, which they decided, they sent it to a DNA laboratory and found conclusively that the DNA matched, that the second husband was a sibling, according to this DNA sample. So the very day that they were going to unleash this on the world, and in fact I was interviewing one of the people involved, the FBI swooped on the gentleman, Anton Lazaro, from this Republican PAC up in Minnesota, and arrested him on some different charges. Who knows whether he's guilty or not guilty. I mean, he's not guilty until proven, but he's in jail. And so his story never got to see the light of day. I mean, luckily he'd
Did you hear
told
that?
The FBI they were not interested. They told him the statute of limitations had run out.
Did you hear that?
To see the website before he took it down, before he was arrested, and managed to report the story such as it was.
I wonder, just kind of spitballing here, what will be more shocking to her fellow liberals? The fact that Ilhan Omar had an incestuous marriage to her own brother, or that she smokes cigarettes? Which will they be more stunned by?
Definitely the latter. And they've got photographs of her smoking the cigarette, so I don't think that's in doubt.
Yeah, incest is just a kind of alternate lifestyle, but smoking a cigarette, that's immoral. So just to be totally clear, she did marry her brother, we know that. Not only repulsive, but illegal. It's fraud. She's not been indicted. She's not going to be indicted. That's totally cool now.
Yeah.
Well, the FBI was told by one of these associates of these people that found the information and was just told no, that they've just decided the statute of limitations has run out on marriage fraud, even though there's no statute of limitations on immigration fraud.
Yeah, or on smoking cigarettes.
Immigration fraud.
Great to see you tonight. Thank you so much.
Bow. So, ladies and gentlemen, did you guys hear this? That's why you got to listen to the show. Did you guys hear this? This story got buried It got buried because the FBI decided to go after Anton Lazaro. The same day that the story was supposed to come out, they go after Anton Lazaro, and it overshadows this story. Well played, Deep State. Well played. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, let me go ahead and give them one of these. Well played. Man. Well played, Deep State. Man, y'all good. Ladies and gentlemen, they good. Man, y'all good. Y'all good. Yeah, y'all really good. So, she married her brother. They went and, got the DNA from some cigarettes. Man, that's beautiful. It is. So, she committed marriage fraud. Right? FBI said, you know what, we ain't going to go after her. The statute of limitations said, whatever the nonsense they talking about. But there's no statute of limitation, ladies and gentlemen, on immigration fraud. Where are the Republicans on this? This is the smoking gun right here. No wonder why that's all Minnesotans keep talking about is Anton Lazaro. Right? You try to make the GOP look real bad. And now we know y'all covering up the real deal. This is a big story. This is a huge story. Ladies, it's huge. This is a huge, gosh darn stinking story. They got the proof right here. She has committed immigration fraud. They need to go after her. If nobody runs their mouth about this, she's going to skate free about this. She is. She needs to be deported straight out of here. Her in a diaper, she need to collect all the diapers. You get what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen? We'll send her some diaper bags. You collect all your diapers and all your nasty words and you hop on a plane and get out of here. Exactly. Sleeping with a brother. Man. Talk about nasty. And yet shout out to RC, and yet she walks around free. Free, talking smack about American soldiers, talking smack about America. Oh, America is terrorist. Ridiculous. What a nasty woman. And then when she's caught, you know what she said? Oh, this is xenophobic. This is xenophobic. This is real xenophobic. This is what they would say. This is real xenophobic. Ridiculous. And if that doesn't work, all of a sudden you're racist now. Right? You're racist. And if that doesn't work, ladies and gentlemen, she's going to throw out her genitalia. My goodness gracious. The MNGOP better not let this go. This is the smoking gun of the year right here. Smoking gun of the year. They better not let this go. Yeah. Shout out to Tammy Roberts. What else is she smoking? Absolutely. Knowing her, she with her hair looking like that. Hold on. Look at her hair. She's sitting there with that white guy. Look at her hair looking all ridiculous. No wonder why she got that diaper. Ladies and gentlemen, she wear that diaper to cover up all this taco meat sitting on here. Look at this. Her fro all lopsided. ladies and gentlemen, looking like a beat up bush. Look at, ladies, I'm telling you. Look at her. Look at nasty. Do you see her? No wonder why she gotta wear a diaper. You know what? I understand. Wear that diaper. If you run around with that beat up bush on top of your head looking like this, looking like you've been fighting bums at the racetrack, right? Look at her. Looking like a broke-ass ghetto troll doll. Look at her, ladies and gentlemen, smoking a cigarette. Maybe that's not even a cigarette. I don't know what that is. You know, I know in Islam what y'all like to smoke. Yeah. I know what y'all like to smoke in Islam. Yeah. As a matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, I don't even think she's supposed to be smoking. In her face, she ain't supposed to be smoking. Let me go send this to the Taliban. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to send this to the Taliban. You get what I'm saying? Let me go back here. Taliban, Mahmoud and them. You need to come and look at one of yours. First of all, she's smoking. Right? You know she ain't supposed to be smoking. And then she don't got that diaper there. That diaper gone. It gone. That diaper gone. Right? Yeah, she ain't walking around with the diaper no more. And on top of that, you know, she's sleeping with a white man. Come on, Taliban. Guys, I know those are violations. Ladies and gentlemen, ain't that a violation? Shout out to my girl, Katie Walker. She says, in St. Cloud, where my friend's son was beaten to death by a Somali gang. Gosh darn it. I know. It's crazy. Sorry to hear that. That's crazy. I'm saying that should be a violation. I know that's a violation. Right? And she wearing makeup too. Absolutely. Taliban, me and my crew here, we done found 5 violations. You know, that gotta be some licks or some ass whoopings. One of the two. Let's go ahead and move on. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you share. Hopefully, the GOP would do the right thing. Hopefully, right? We can only pray. Let me go ahead, ladies and gentlemen, and give a shout out. Very special shout out to my girl, Dixie George. Absolutely. She says, for we need some more wrenches. Absolutely. And she did the $5 challenge. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. And I want to go ahead and give a shout out to my guy, RC, brother from another mother, brother in arms. Shout out to you. Shout out to my guy, RC. Shout out to you. Absolutely. Make sure you guys share. Make sure you guys hit that like button. All right. A lot of folks need to see this. They do. A lot of folks need to see this. I want to go ahead and show you guys a viral video on TikTok. It's about a woman who voted for Biden, and now, let me tell you something. She's quite upset. She's quite upset about what's going on right now. I want you guys to share and hit this like button, all right? Here we go.
I really thought I hated Trump when he was in office. I really did. But I'm a woman, and I can admit when I'm wrong. And y'all, I was dead ass wrong. I was wrong for what I did. I regret it. I do. Never in a million years would I have thought I would be like, hey, let's bring Trump back. But bitches, let's bring Trump back, because this ain't it. I'm not feeling this. I'm not feeling this at all. Excuse me, I'm gonna go break down.
Bow. There you go. The liberals are crying. Liberals are crying, ladies and gentlemen. They're crying. They're starting to see how bad Biden is, right? If you go ahead and look at the food prices through the gosh darn roof. Meat is through the roof, ladies and gentlemen, right? You got to be rich to get some meat nowadays. Yeah, get some ground beef, good old ground beef. A pound, I think, is rolling around $6, $7 around here. A pound of ground beef. I'm telling you. Pack of chicken, $12, $15. Don't speak about seafood. Don't you do it. Don't just speak about snow crabs. Right? Don't you speak about lobsters. Don't you do it. Through the roof. If you look at gas prices, my goodness gracious, right? Your heart stop when you look at the gas prices. Biden, ladies and gentlemen, he's destroying everything he touches. Every gosh darn thing he touches. Even the birds outside, they're tweeting, right? The birds know that Biden's screwing up. You know, tweet, 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 he'll screw up. So it's a beautiful thing that people are now waking up to the nonsense of the Biden administration. You know, I just wish they would wake up a lot earlier. They wanted to get rid of a man who told the truth and who did the right thing, compared to a man who lies, forgets what he says, and does whatever he wants. It's a crazy thing. Let's go ahead and move forward. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you share. Biden administration this week, ladies and gentlemen, has pissed off more folks than I don't know who. I can tell you more than Donald Trump. I can tell you that. Did you guys see what Biden's doing with student loans? Did you see? Let me go ahead and transition here. This may piss off a lot of folks. Biden administration wipes out $5.8 billion in student loan debt for over 300,000 borrowers. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, people getting off. Biden administration is automatically wiping out $5.8 billion in student loan debt, over 300,000 borrowers living with serious disabilities that makes them unable to earn sufficient income, Associated Press reported. So in the beginning of September, the Education Department will start wiping out student loan debt for 323,000 citizens identified as permanently disabled on Social Security records. The 3-year income monitoring period is expected to be taken away during the federal rulemaking process that begins in October. So there you go. There you go. So if you are, they're saying if you're permanently disabled, quote unquote, physically or psychologically, right? Basically, it's hard for you to work physically or psychologically to what they say, gainful employment. You get wiped away. Yep. And as a matter of fact, they had a program like this before. So the people who are getting mad, I want you to know that the federal government already had a program like this before. All they're doing is expanding the program to a lot more folks. That is it. That is it. Right? Yeah, and that's where it comes down to. Shout out to Katie Walker. Katie Walker says, why should taxpayers pay for colleges that they never attended? Right? That is going to be, you know, the kicker there with a lot of folks. And for me, if you're going to be doing this just for people who are permanently disabled, I mean, you don't have to be permanently disabled to have a hard time looking for a job and paying these, you know, student loans, in my eyes. I mean, you don't have to do that. So if you're doing that, why not do it for other folks who have problems paying their student loans? Makes no sense. All the Biden administration doing, ladies and gentlemen, is creating, you know, a division here. Right? Why are these people getting it than us? This is what the deal is, and a lot of folks are thinking like that as well. Now, the way that I look at it here, Biden is trying to secure votes with this type of move here. He is. Now, if Republicans were smart, right, and they got off, you know, not trying to do anything for anybody except for their rich friends, they would try to help families, right? They would. You know, there's a lot of stuff that they can do to alleviate people's, you know, problems with student loans. And in my eyes, it's a win to bring a lot of folks over. The Republicans can do a lot. This student loan crisis, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be solved one way or another. And it's not. And if Republicans don't want to solve it, they're going to lose some more folks as well. Just because Biden is screwing up doesn't mean that, you know, somehow, you know, the people who voted for Biden are somehow going to vote for another Republican. I want you to wake up. I want you to wake up. They would vote for another Biden if they could and get the same result. That's how dumb they are. So I want you guys to wake up to that. It will be solved regardless. Same thing with this immigration, right? That's not being solved, but it's going to get solved by the Democrats. Republicans have to start taking charge in a lot of these situations here. They have to. Now, is it right for people to get alleviated of some of these loans that they took out and they promised that they would pay? No. It's not right in a lot of these cases. But we also have to, ladies and gentlemen, use common sense. We also have to be compassionate, right? Compassionate. A lot of children took out loans, ladies and gentlemen, because they were hoodwinked. They were hoodwinked to go to school. And you know what I mean? For the last decade, if you spoke to parents, you spoke to teachers, you spoke to any buffoon on the street, they would tell you the only way for you to be successful is to do what? Go to school, go to college. That's what they would say. Back in the day, nobody was telling folks about all the liberal arts BS that was going on. Millions of children fell victim to the liberal nonsense. Went in there to go get some African art history degree, right? Get some degree in, zipper tying. I don't know. But they got some BS degrees out there. Children hoodwinked to get them. They get out, they don't have a job. And I want people to understand that the longer the loans stay out, it's not hurting them. Well, it is their credit, but it's hurting us. So there has to be some sort of solvency there. And if Republicans took this opportunity to explain it this way, because trust me, there's a lot of folks who were hoodwinked into going to college, going to school, including myself. But I'm not sitting here crying for a way out. I understand what it is. But this could be a winning avenue for Republicans to get the young voters, to show that actually, the Republicans care, right? More than just fighting for abortion, fighting for sodomy and some other stuff, right? Yeah. So Republicans, another one, right? You ain't going to go on immigration. You're not going to do that. What you going to fight for? Right? It can't be CRT. You're not going to win a lot of folks over. I'm telling you, we have so many issues that we could take control on. We can. And if I was the president, I would reallocate that money, ladies and gentlemen, into trade schools. We've already spoken about it, right? We spoke about the trade schools. Republicans don't think like this. They don't. That's why I'm telling you, Republicans are slow. I've said this through and through. They're mentally slow. They have to pick up the speed. There's a lot of issues that Republicans can take charge on, that they could bring their conservative message, their conservative outlook on. But they're not doing it. They're going to allow the liberals to take charge in every one and screw it up. People got to wake up. Moving forward. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you share. Trump the other day, he pissed off a lot of folks. Hit that like button. Make sure you share. I need your help. I need your help. Trump the other day was on Maria Bartiromo's show. That was on, what was it on? I think it was on Sunday. What is it, Sunday? Monday? It was like a couple days ago. A couple of days ago, he was on the show there. And he spoke about COVID-19 boosters. He spoke about the vaccine, which I highly, I wish he would not do it. But he spoke on it. And let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. He pissed off a lot of folks. Trump says that the reason why people are hesitant to get the vaccine is because it's the Biden administration. This is what he's saying. He said that if he was still president, people wouldn't be hesitant to get the vaccine. What? I kid you not. He pissed off a lot of conservatives. Let me go ahead and run this when it gets back. I want to speak about this. I want to, honestly. Make sure you hit that like button. The other fakers don't, right? The people who are taking the pillow money. You guys know the folks taking the pillow money, right? They didn't want to speak about Mike's symposium, but they were taking his money. Yeah, remember? Yeah, you know those guys, right? Yeah, Mike Lindell. We spoke about it yesterday. He called them out, all four of them. He's saying, hey, how come you ain't speaking about this? Here we go.
Vaccine. I've taken the vaccine. I'm very, very proud of it. At the same time, some people don't want to take it. And, you know, when I was president, you didn't have this problem with people not wanting to take it. They don't take it because they don't trust Biden, and they don't trust the Biden administration. When I was president, you didn't have people protesting the vaccine. If you just think back, everybody wanted to get it, and we were giving out over 1 million shots a day. We had that thing rocking, and he's now president, and
Gosh,
he's doing a lousy job with coronavirus. Coronavirus is back. If that ever happened to me where it came back, okay, when I left, it was virtually gone. It was over.
Bow, I got to stop it. Gosh darn it, Mr. President. I had to stop it. I had to, ladies and gentlemen, I had to stop it. You know, I can take some embellishment, okay? And if you've been watching this program, you know I'm not a fanboy, right? I'm not a pogo stick rider, if you know what that means, right? You know that I like to cheerlead for the truth. Right? This is what makes this program different, right? I didn't take the pillow money, right? Jermaine didn't take the pillow money. I like some embellishing, but gosh darn it, Mr. President, that's one hell of some embellishing. That's one hell of an exaggeration, I can tell you that. So much so I can't go along with that. I wish he would have never said that. Saying that folks wouldn't, that the coronavirus was virtually gone. What? And folks are hesitant to take it because Biden's in office, and if you were they were just willing to take it? Come on. I'm not, ladies and gentlemen, you got to be cuckoo for Cocoa Puff to go along with that. Mr. President, I love ya, but stop it. Going for it. That's a stop it. I like the embellishing, but that's one hell of an embellishing. I can tell you that. One hell of one.
Now it's coming back through the Delta, and I don't know if you even want to call it that. All you call it is the China virus is back. You have the vaccine. People that do, and it's a very small number relatively, but people that do get it get better much quicker. And it's a very important thing to know. They don't get nearly as sick, and they get better. Lindsey Graham's an example. He said, if I didn't have this vaccine, I would have died. You know,
it's a great point. It's a great point, but I still come back to the idea. I still come back to the idea of a booster shot. I mean, yes, you're right. The vaccines work. We've seen that.
That sounds, you know what? That sounds to me like a money-making operation for Pfizer. Okay? Think of the money involved.
Getting
an extra shot, that's tens of billions of dollars. How good a business is that? If you're a pure businessman, you say, you know what? Let's give them another shot. That's another $10 billion of money coming in. The whole thing is just crazy. It doesn't. You wouldn't think you would need a booster. You know, when these first came out, they were good for life. Then they were good for a year or two, and I could see the writing on the wall. I could see the dollar signs in their eyes of that guy that runs Pfizer. You know, the guy that announced the day after the election that he had the vaccine. But we knew that, and I knew that.
Yeah, he announced it November 9th. You're right, a few days after the election. Mr. President, I got to get your take on...
Bow. So Donald Trump, and this is where, you know, this is where the rubber meets the road, right? This is where we recognize what he said. Now, I understand he came out with the vaccine, he wants to take credit for the vaccine. Fine and dandy, right? Fine and dandy. But a lot of the stuff that he's saying, you got to be a little bit forthright with it. You got to be. He's talking about, ladies and gentlemen, folks are hesitant to take the vaccine because Biden is in office. Mr. Trump, sir, people were already hesitant when you were in office. When the announcement of the vaccine, people were already hesitant. Just because you were there, I know you did some great stuff, Mr. President. I understand, right? You got a lot of stuff to pat yourself on the back on. I understand that. But let me tell you something. You ain't that sweet to be saying something like this. And I want folks to wake up, right? He's a great president. He did some fantastic things. But when he's saying stuff like this, you start, looking at him and wagging your finger. It's a big wag. And then when he said, well, I was leaving, COVID was, gosh darn, almost gone. No, it wasn't. No, I mean, ladies and gentlemen, no, it wasn't. So I understand he wants to give a shot at Biden, right? This is your time to really, put down Biden. But gosh darn, there's so much to put him down on. Just be genuine about it. If you like the vaccine, just say it. But all this other stuff here, it gets to a point where, I mean, gosh darn it, you gotta wake up at some point. You're like, gosh darn, Mr. President, I'm cool with a lot of embellishing you're doing. I like it, but this is where you cut the line. This embellishing get folks killed. So I had an issue when I heard this. And a lot of conservatives had an issue when they heard this as well. Other folks are not going to speak about it because they're Trump they're Trump tards, as a lot of folks call them out there. Right? They got some picture of Trump that they get down on their knees and bow down and pray and everything else. Right? So they can't see straight. I'm not one of them guys. Right? I love Trump, but I'm not one of them guys. I voted for Trump. I'm not one of them guys. I like to call it like I said. I like to be honest. That's what brings folks to the show, right? I don't like to be a fanboy. Like the people who take my pillow money, right? They took all the pillow money and they couldn't be honest. I mean, that lets you know where the real deal is. Let you know. So, Mr. President, he spoke also, and I also want to bring this up. He spoke about the COVID-19 booster shots, ladies and gentlemen. He spoke about that. He says that it sounds like a money-making scheme. And guess what? I think it is as well. Right? Shot each year, booster. I mean, 10 million. I mean, that's the way they think. I want folks to understand that's the way they think. So Donald Trump is exactly right on this here when he speaks about the money-making scheme when it comes to these COVID boosters. I absolutely agree with him on it. When it comes to what he's saying about the vaccine, I don't agree with him on it. I don't, and I wish he would stop it. I wish he would. I wish he would stop saying, and pushing the vaccine and doing all this. I wish he would. Because if he's touting how great it is, Mr. President, why don't you go and visit some of the folks who have adverse reactions? Why don't you go visit the black woman here in Minneapolis? The story that I did, that Gateway Pundit put out, where she took the Moderna vaccine and her arms and legs got amputated, Mr. President. Yeah, Mr. President, the vaccines that you're talking about. So all that touting you're doing, hopefully you're being honest with the touting. and you're going to go speak to a lot of these people who are having vaccine injuries, right? The ones that hopefully you can put up a fund, Mr. President. You get what I'm saying? You said you put up Operation Warp Speed, right? Fastest vaccine approval on this side of heaven. Maybe, Mr. President, you can find it in your heart, just maybe, to put up a fund for the folks who can't get any relief from these vaccines that, might have came out through Operation Warp Speed, Just thinking there, maybe I'm going too far. Maybe. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you share. All right? I need your help. The other fakers ain't speaking like this, and you know it. They took the MyPillow money. I didn't take any MyPillow money. I took nothing. Hit that like button. Make sure you share. Next one up. I want to speak about Dr. Fauci. Dr. Fauci. Dr. Fauci came out today, ladies and gentlemen, on MSNBC to speak about these COVID booster shots. I want to go ahead and play a little bit of what he's saying here. When it comes back, I want to get you guys' take on it. I want to know what you guys think about Mr. Fauci. He's selling these booster shots, and he's saying that we need to get ahead of the curve. All right, this is what he's saying. Here we go.
To fight against the surging Delta variant by recommending booster shots for most Americans starting in the fall. Also by confronting Republican governors who are fighting masking in schools and requiring nursing home staff to be vaccinated. All this even as the Washington Post reports today criticism of the CDC for, it says, being too slow to share data about how the vaccine's strength was waning against the Delta variant. So all questions today for the president's top medical advisor, Dr. Anthony Fauci, director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. Dr. Fauci, thank you very much for being with us. It's an important day. Well, first, what drove the administration to recommend these booster shots starting September 20th?
Well, it was very clear, Andrea, that the protection that the vaccine was affording with regard to infection and mild to moderate disease was diminishing. It still had very high protection against severe disease leading to hospitalization and death. But the direction was going wrong. In other words, you were seeing an attenuation over a period of time, particularly in the context of the very troublesome and highly transmissible Delta variant. That's superimposed upon the experience that Israel was seeing, and they're usually about, a month or more ahead of us in the vaccine as well as in the experience with the Delta virus and the Delta variant. And they were starting to see not only an attenuation and protection against mild to moderate disease and infection, but they were starting to see an uptick in hospitalizations, particularly in vulnerable people. And because of that, we felt it was much better to stay ahead of the curve, since we did not want to be in a position where we were having such attenuation of effect that we wait until we start really getting into trouble before we recommend boosters. And it's very clear right now that when you give someone a booster, and we've done studies, it increases the level of antibody level that's associated with protection to a very, very high level. And what happened just today, which came out from a report from the Public Health Organization in Israel, that they're already starting to see an effect from their boosters, their third shot, that it is helping very much in blunting that diminution in protection. So it was the right call. I mean, it does not mean that the vaccines are not protective. They still are really quite protective. We want to stay ahead of the game to make sure that the durability of that protection continues. We still feel the most important thing, Andrea, is to get unvaccinated people vaccinated as quickly as we possibly can. And for those who have been vaccinated, this recommendation for a booster is to stay ahead of the virus and to make sure that the protection is high and prolonged.
To stay ahead of the virus, though, how concerned are you? This is the first time I've heard you say that there are some data, this from Israel, that it no longer fully protects against serious disease and hospitalization in some cases. Now, I understand that these are early data, but that has to be very concerning because up until now we've been told, well, if you're vaccinated, at least if you have a breakthrough case, and there have been more and more of these breakthrough cases, it won't be serious, and it may not even be infectious and transmissible.
So, good question, and there's a clear answer to it, Andrea, is that right now, when you look at this country and the vaccinations that have been given, for the most part, there's a high degree of protection against hospitalization and death. What we're seeing with the Delta variant are breakthrough infections, which you'd expect to see in a situation in which you have a vaccine that's not 100% protective. If you're vaccinated, in general, those breakthrough infections are mild to moderate, sometimes even asymptomatic. But what we're starting to see over time is these signals that over a period of time, it's starting to attenuate and come down. So even though we're protected now, rather than saying, let's wait until we start seeing significant disease and hospitalizations, let's get ahead of the curve. Let's get a booster to those people generally around 8 months after the original regimen to prevent the kind of thing that you're talking about. We're not seeing it now. We want to prevent it. And I believe that's good public health policy to make sure that we prevent something from happening prior to having to react to something happening.
Now,
there you go. So I'm going to stop it right here. Dr. Fauci says that we got to get ahead of this curve, ladies and gentlemen. We got to get ahead of it. You heard him. He's saying that, the COVID shots, the vaccines, aren't 100% effective. So if you catch the Delta variant, and this is according to him, not me, according to Dr. Fauci, that you can still get the coronavirus, right? He said it won't be as bad, right? You won't be in a state of hospitalization, right? You may be even asymptomatic. This is what he's saying. And he's saying that it has been shown, right? Not me, but he's saying it has been shown taking these COVID-19 boosters can be very effective for folks, especially if they're quote unquote immunocompromised, right? Immunodeficiency compromised, whatever new tactic they want to use now. But this is what they're saying. This is what they are saying. Now, what happens if the Delta variant becomes, let's say, the Biden variant, right? Let's say the next variant is called the Biden variant, and you get it and you start stuttering like Biden. Will there be another, vaccine coming out? Will it be like, the Microsoft updates? Microsoft update your computer, every month, every couple weeks? They send you some new stuff to update your software. I mean, is that basically what we're going to be doing? I understand that, a lot of folks say that our bodies are kind of like a computer, right? And the vaccines are kind of like softwares. They tell the computer what to do. That analogy kind of works well with what they're doing. So I just wanted to go ahead and show you guys this. Dr. Fauci, Mr. Biden, they've already, given it the go. It's already got the approval. It's out the door. So they will begin in September. So if you've had your COVID-19 shot, your second shot, you are eligible to get this booster, right? That should help against the Delta variant 8 months after your second shot. So, it's there for you. He says it's waiting. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you share it. I mean, he said it's waiting. Don't get mad at me. He said it's waiting. Next one up, ladies and gentlemen. I want to go ahead and let me go ahead and put this up here. I want to go ahead and give a shout out here real quick before I move on. I want to go ahead and give a shout out to my girl Karen Rooks. She took the $5. Karen Rooks says, taking the $5 challenge, you put a smile on my face with the truth in a scary time we are living. I can't stop laughing at your humor during a time as this. Love you. Shout out to you, sweetheart. Shout out to Karen Rooks. Shout out to you. Absolutely. Shout out to you. I want to go ahead and speak about CNN. CNN, ladies and gentlemen, is bringing out the cannons on Biden. It looks like Biden, his grace on CNN has depleted. It looks like the Biden administration is out to hang on CNN, believe it or not. CNN says that Biden has one broken promise after another. You know, the liberals over there at the Criminal Negro Network, they're not happy at all. They're not happy at all. I want you guys to take a look at this. You know, all the Afghan women, right? And that's all the liberals care about. All the Afghan women in trouble, right? Oh my gosh, they gotta wear those nasty cloths all over on your face. I mean, they can't even breathe through that hijab. How's they gonna wear that, right? I know. You know, they were wearing it, and they weren't complaining before you liberal skanks went over there. Right? They didn't know that they were being mistreated before y'all went over there. Take a look.
The rapid fall of Afghanistan stunning the Biden administration and this nation, quite frankly. And many of the promises, predictions, and the words of the president and his White House are coming back to haunt them.
Is a Taliban takeover of Afghanistan now inevitable?
No, it is not. Because you have the Afghan troops have 300,000 well equipped as any army in the world, and an air force against something like 75,000 Taliban. It is not inevitable. So the question now is, where do they go from here? That the jury is still out. But the likelihood there's going to be the Taliban overrunning everything and owning the whole country is highly unlikely.
Well, they own the whole country now, the Taliban does. When Biden made those comments on July 8th, just about a month ago, the Taliban had already started gaining ground in the country. Biden said for months that it was going to be up to Afghan leaders and security forces to maintain power.
I think they have the capacity to be able to sustain the government. We can be value added, but the Afghans are going to have to be able to do it themselves with the Air Force they have, which you're helping them maintain.
They absolutely were not, the Afghan security forces, able to sustain that. Afghanistan fell within days, and in Kabul, the Taliban met little resistance. President Ashraf Ghani had already fled the country by the time the Taliban marched into the streets of Kabul. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken conceding the administration was unprepared.
That the Taliban was at its greatest position of strength at any time since 2001, when it was last in charge of the country. That is the Taliban that we inherited. And so we saw that they were very much capable of going on the offensive and beginning to take back the country. And the fact of the matter is, we've seen that that force has been unable to defend the country, and that has happened more quickly than we anticipated.
The Biden administration is now unable to articulate why the evacuation of its personnel and Afghan allies was botched so badly after Biden himself had vowed a competent withdrawal.
We'll not conduct a hasty rush to the exit. We'll do it responsibly, deliberately, and safely. And we will do it in full coordination with our allies and partners, who now have more forces in Afghanistan than we do.
Biden has mobilized additional U.S. troops to join the few thousand that are still in Afghanistan as the U.S. attempts hasty evacuations from Kabul's airport, even as the Taliban controls neighboring areas. And one more recent promise that has been broken, that is the promise that this would not be similar to the fall of Saigon in 1975.
The Taliban is not the North Vietnamese army. They're not remotely comparable in terms of capability. There's going to be no circumstance where you see people being lifted off the roof of an embassy of the United States from Afghanistan.
There you go. So you got CNN, ladies and gentlemen. CNN. They going after Biden. I'm about to say Trump. They usually going after Trump. They going after Biden. They're saying he botched the withdrawal. One broken promise after another. Now, I don't know if liberals are doing this so that they seem as if they're credible right now. Right? Because it looks so bad that if they do their usual caping for Biden, it would look so disingenuous that it would turn off most of their viewers. Yeah, that's what I think it is. That's what I think it is. I mean, these people, ladies and gentlemen, they're psychotic. They absolutely are. There's no way that I think that they're just going after Biden because all of a sudden, you know, they're for the truth and they dislike him. No. Biden botched this one up so bad, ladies and gentlemen, so bad. They can't even turn away. They have to act as if, you know, they're attacking him to look genuine. I'm telling you. That's exactly what it is. Kamala Harris is still quiet, right? Where's knee pads Harris? Maybe she got something stuck in her throat. That's why she ain't talking. I understand. You know, she got one hell of a position, I can tell you that. Always on her knees. I bet them knee pads get real dirty. I bet they do. Can't speak. Kamala knee pads Harris. You can never find her, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, she's quiet. Quiet like a church mouse. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I need to show you guys this. This one is just ooh-wee. Biden's Pentagon spokesman, John Kirby, was on Fox News earlier today, speaking about, ladies and gentlemen, Afghanistan. And let me tell you something. What he didn't say is what everybody and their mama is talking about. What he didn't say. John Kirby, in this interview, and it's a quick clip with Brett Baer. He refuses to call the Taliban an enemy. I want people to understand. We've been fighting the Taliban for 20 years. The Biden Pentagon spokesman refuses to call the Taliban an enemy. This is one of the main problems we have. Main reason why, quote unquote, this whole thing got botched. I want you guys to take a look at this. This is very severe. Ain't nobody playing this. Take a look at this.
Does the U.S. military consider the Taliban an enemy?
We're our focus right now. The thing we're working against right now is time and space, and we want to get as many people out of Kabul as we can in as little amount of time as we can. There are no hostile interactions right now between American forces and the Taliban, and we want to keep it that way.
Bow. Let me play it again. Listen again.
Does the U.S. military consider the Taliban an enemy?
Does the U.S. Taliban consider, does the U.S. the U.S. consider the Taliban an enemy?
Does the U.S. military consider the Taliban an enemy?
Very straightforward question. Does the U.S. military consider the Taliban an enemy? Very straightforward. Once more again.
We're our focus right now.
You heard it, right? That engine stuttering.
The thing we're working against right now is time and space, and we want to get as many people out of Kabul as we can in as little amount of time as we can. There are no hostile interactions right now between American forces and the Taliban, and we want to keep it that way.
There you go.
Does the U.S. military consider the Taliban an enemy?
We're our focus right now. The thing we're working against right now.
There you go. There you go. Your own Pentagon spokesperson can't even say that your administration calls the Taliban an enemy. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen. So you mean who were we fighting then? RC. Who were we fighting in Afghanistan if they're not our enemy? If the Taliban is not our enemy, who were we fighting? Who? RC, did you catch this? Bodycam. Did y'all catch this? Who were we fighting? This is that I want to appease Muslim crap. This is that I don't want to look like I'm xenophobic crap. These people, ladies and gentlemen, will bow down for the Muslims before they bow down to God. These people, ladies and gentlemen, are insurgents. Anybody who cannot say the Taliban is an enemy of the United States, there's something wrong with you. There's something wrong with you. As a matter of fact, they should be looked into as traitors. This is traitor behavior. That's a slap in the face to all the soldiers who fought, got injured, who died, who lost loved ones. Ladies and gentlemen, do you gotta get this? This is severe. Who did we fight? I just don't know. He can't call him an enemy. This is Biden administration. Cannot call the Taliban an enemy. All he was doing was stuttering. Hold on. Right? Sound like Biden. Trying to get that motor started, right? That's a lie. This man was telling lies. All that stuttering you're doing. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And more nonsense in this interview I want you guys to hear. Bret Baier asked the Biden Pentagon official if British can get their people out of Afghanistan, why can't the U.S.? I want you guys to take a look at his answer. Watch his eyes. Watch the stuttering. You're gonna see that motor stuttering again. You're going to hear. You're going to hear that. You're going to hear that. Here we go.
Yeah, but is there a deal with the Taliban that restricts U.S. forces to the airport?
No. There's no deal that restricts forces to the airport, but, Brett, that's where the mission is. The troops are there for really two things. One, to keep that airport safe and secure for people and for flight operations. And two, to make sure that those flight operations can go as unimpeded as possible with as few delays.
No, I understand,
as many aircraft as we can get on.
But if the British can take their paratroopers and they can get in vehicles and go get their people and get them to the airport, why can't the U.S. do that? If there is a deal with the Taliban to provide safe passage, why is it left to the Americans outside of that ring to get there on their own? Why can't we send vehicles to go get them?
Bow! He caught him in the lie. He caught him in the lie. Sir, you just got caught in a lie.
We have not seen any great impediments to the safe passage that the Taliban have agreed to facilitate. Americans are getting through those checkpoints, and they are getting onto the base on the airfield.
It's
and
a
they
lie.
Are being flown
it's
out
a lie. It's a lie, sir. It's a lie. He just caught you in a lie. He's so dumb he doesn't even know he got caught up in a lie. You got caught in a lie, sir. On national TV, you got caught in a lie. He caught you in a lie. Good job, Bret Baier. I don't even think he know how good of a job he did. You caught him in a lie. The British, ladies and gentlemen, have to parachute into the country. Right? He's talking about, yeah, we have a deal with the Taliban. You know, they're going to allow safe passage and all this. If you have a deal with the Taliban to allow safe passage, why do Americans have to go outside of that deal to bring Americans home? Makes no sense, ladies and gentlemen. He's telling a lie, and he got caught up. I want you to understand he got caught up. These are the folks that are being pushed up in front of us. Straight up liars! And this one just got caught up on national TV. It doesn't make any sense, sir. It doesn't. Why would you have to go outside of your deal? If the Taliban, you're saying you have a deal, right? They're so nice. They're going to allow Americans to come to the airport. Why do you have to go outside of that deal that you guys say you have? Right? The one day you say, well, we got to get Americans down there so we get troops there so we can get safe passage. Well, you said you already had to deal with them for the safe passage. Makes no sense. And these are the people they trot up in front of you. Once more again.
Deal with the Taliban that restricts U.S. forces to the airport?
No. There's no deal that restricts forces to the airport, but, Brett, That's where the mission is. The troops are there for really two things. One, to keep that airport safe and secure for people and for flight operations. And two, to make sure that those flight operations can go as unimpeded as possible with as few delays.
No, I understand,
as many aircraft as we can get on
but
there.
If the British can take their paratroopers and they can get in vehicles and go get their people and get them to the airport, why can't the U.S. do that? If there is a deal with the Taliban to provide safe passage, why is it left to the Americans outside of that ring to get there on their own? Why can't we send vehicles to go get them?
We have not seen any great impediments to the safe passage that the Taliban have agreed to facilitate. Americans are getting through those checkpoints, and they are getting onto the base on the airfield, and they are being flown out of Kabul.
There you go. The most transparent administration in the world. You heard it. 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 That's the Biden administration. They will lie. They will do whatever they can to cover up the truth, just like some communists. Just like some communists. I want to show you guys a video here, and this will be our last one. A viral video that's going out right now. And it deals with Biden's ABC exclusive that he did. And he speaks about the Kabul airport. Apparently, he I don't even know if this is a misspeak, but people are saying he misspoke about nobody being killed at the Kabul airport. And this video got a lot of folks mad. They're absolutely upset. The liberals are upset about this. I want you guys to take a look at this. Here we go.
It took 2 days to take control of the airport. We have control of the airport now.
Still a lot of pandemonium outside the airport.
Well, there is, but look, but no one's being killed right now. God forgive me if I'm wrong about that, but no one's being killed right now. We got 1,000 somewhere, 1,200 out yesterday, a couple thousand a day, and it's increasing. We're going to get those people out.
But we've all seen the pictures. We've seen those hundreds of people packed into a C-17. We've seen Afghans falling.
That was 4 days ago, 5 days ago.
There you go. There you go. That's the clip that got a lot of people upset right now. That no one's being killed right now near the Kabul airport. It's a gosh darn lie. That's Biden. That's his administration. That's him. You can't get around that. You cannot. So, in this show tonight, we spoke about a lot of things. We spoke about the corruption in the GOP. We also spoke about the big story that got swept under the rug. To me, one of the biggest stories of this year. We know now that the diaper lady, she was truly married to her brother. We know it by DNA, right? They took the cigarettes, right? We know that. And we also know, ladies and gentlemen, she committed marriage fraud. And she also committed immigration fraud. We know that. We know that Biden, he's only looking out for the people who are disabled when it comes to the student loans. And we also know, ladies and gentlemen, that these COVID-19 booster shots are going to be coming out in September, and they're going to be targeting the immunodeficiency compromised, whatever, they want to call it nowadays. We're living in a crazy world. We are. We absolutely are. So that's what it is, ladies and gentlemen. That is our show for tonight. 2 hours of fire and fury. I want to thank everybody for coming on in here, hanging out with me today. I want to thank everybody for sharing and hitting that like button. I also would like to thank everybody for donating, because your donations help the show run. It helps us pay our bills here. It helps us push out the content. It helps us, do the things you guys love and deserve. So I want to thank everybody for helping us out here. I would. I'll be on tomorrow. I'm trying to get a guest on for tomorrow. Hopefully, they'll get back to me here pretty soon. So I'm planning on having a guest here tomorrow. We shall have a very good show. I want to thank everybody for coming on in here and doing what is needed. You guys take care. Have a beautiful night. And I'll catch you guys here tomorrow with another edition of Conservative Nation. You guys take care. Love you. And good night.
Hey, Mula, go get him, dog.